back again with another one of my recipes. This one here is going to be onion soup, French onion soup. Look, I'm taking this out of my cookbook, which I had made for my kids a few years back. Okay, and I called it Hand-Me-Down Recipes from the Kitchen of Aunt Karen's. But anyways, I'm taking this recipe from my cookbook. Okay, so look, we're gonna need for this recipe, and it's really simple, beef broth, chicken broth, lots of onions. I put white wine in mine. You don't have to have white wine. You don't have to use it at all. I do. I have thyme, bay leaves, salt and pepper, olive oil. Okay, now we're going to get started. First, you're going to cut up all these onions. You're going to cry like crazy. But if you put a little wet rag next to you while you're doing it, it kind of stops it. Okay, I've already peeled the onions. But I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to just slide this stuff right out of the way. Okay, I got the onion already sliced. Okay, all I do is just lay it down and just cut like this. See? That's it. Just slice them. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just slice. Okay, now look at the kids are probably not going to like it. I don't know. Our kids do, but they see the onions and they go, oh no. But anyways, once we get into it, I'll tell you what you could do. Throw those onions in here, okay? Now, the hardest part of this whole recipe is cutting these onions. We're going to take our pot, okay? We're going to put olive oil. Enough just to cover the bottom, just a little bit here. 2-3 tablespoons. You're going to throw your onions in. Just like this. You're saying to yourself, oh my God, look at all those onions. Well, guess what? There's not that many onions in here. You're going to use about 8 big onions in this recipe. Now look at, if you have a smaller family, you don't need 8 big onions. Cut the recipe in half. Okay? Once I'm done with this, I'm going to take salt. Now, you can use sea salt. You can use whatever salt you want. But you want to salt these really good. Okay? You know, I use sea salt, but, you know, if you got iodized salt, use that. If you have kosher, use that. Who cares? Okay? Salt them real good. What we're going to do now, this is the longest part. We're going to cook these down forever. Okay? Once you get this cooked down, we're going to put the lid on them and let them sweat. And then once they're all done sweating, you're going to take them out and you're going to cook them more. You're going to get them till they're brown. And that's when all the sweetness comes out of the onion. Okay, so let's go do that. Okay, I'm going to turn this on and sweat these onions. So what we're going to do, we're just going to give them a little stir. Make sure you got them coated with the oil you put in. You don't need a lot of oil, guys. Just enough to cover the bottom, actually. Okay, so this is the longest part of the whole soup process, is letting these sweat. In a few minutes, maybe about 10 minutes, I'll come back and look and take the lid off and then let them kind of like get the water and that out so they start browning. And then we put it all together and you're done. So, okay, we'll be back. Okay, we're back with making the French onion soup. The onions are sweating, okay? First of all, I did forget to say when we first started, to make sure you wash your hands. That's the most important part. Wash your hands, keep your surfaces clean, and everything will be all good. Okay, now French onion soup. Now, it calls for baguettes. Who the heck keeps baguettes in their house? Well, I don't, okay? So the next best thing is croutons. All right, so we're gonna make croutons. See this loaf of bread? Oh well, we're gonna use it for croutons. You're just gonna take your bread out, like so. Okay, you can use top crust if you want. If you don't have to. You're gonna cut these into little pieces, little squares, just like this. Okay. And once you're all done doing this, and you made a mess, you put them in a bowl, just like this. Now, you do as many croutons as you want. I'm just going to show you a little bit here. All you have to do is cut them into little squares. Take your olive oil, just do a little bit of olive oil like this, just enough, drizzle it over there. Add a little salt. Now we're not going to spice these up with anything. We're just trying to make a hard bread to put onto our soup. Okay? And another thing, a little pepper. Another thing is the cheese part. I don't do them cheeses that, like names I can't even pronounce. All right, so I'll use Swiss, provolone, mozzarella. Use whatever cheese you want. The best cheese, though, is a stringy cheese, like the mozzarella or the Swiss. They call for this Gruyere, or however you want to say it. I don't do that, okay? And it's expensive. Who the hell can go out and spend $5 on a brick of cheese when it costs less than $5 to make the soup? Doesn't make any sense to me. I use what I have in my pantry. That's it. And if you want to go, by all means, if you want to go buy that stuff, go for it. Me, no way. It tastes good no matter how I do it. All right, then all I do is I throw these on here like this. Okay, nice and neat. You know, I don't like to double them up. I like to keep them all flat. Once I'm all done with this, I throw it in the oven. Keep an eye on it. I'm going to say maybe after 10 minutes, that might be too long. 5 minutes, keep an eye on it. Once it gets nice and brown and crunchy, they're done. Okay, 350 oven, and we'll come back in about 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to check our onions. Check these guys out. See, they're starting to sweat. All right, they're starting to bring out their water and stuff out of here. And they, I love onions. They smell good to me. Anyways, like I said, this is the hardest part, waiting till it gets done. Okay, so we're gonna cover these up. Keep them sweat. Well, you know what? No, we're not. We're gonna uncover this, and we're gonna let it start cooking down so they get nice and brown. Check them in another few minutes. You know, you're standing right here. Just come back and give them a little stir here and there. But like I said, remember how many onions were in here? Well, look, they're starting to go down. By the time we're done, we're going to probably have an inch of onions. Okay, we'll be back. All right, you guys, we're starting to sweat real good now. So look, see how they're reducing right down? Okay, so they're starting to brown a little bit. We got a ways to go. Like I said, this is the hardest part of making this soup. But I'll tell you what, it's worth the wait. Okay, there, you can check the croutons. Woo! Check those croutons out. Okay, those are going to go on your bowl of soup. Now, I only made a few, but just to show you that you don't need baguettes or, I mean, any bread. You got old bread or whatever, just make croutons out of them. You're going to throw that on there, a little crunchy. Toasted croutons. You put your cheese on, you're going to be all set to go. So you don't need to follow a recipe. You do whatever you got. Hey, you guys, check out the onions. I have, they're caramelizing nicely. See how nice they look? Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to add our wine. Okay, and then we're going to reduce this wine. Okay, and you're only going to put like a cup in. Now, if you don't use it, that's fine too. I use it. I put like a cup. That's it. And then I let this cook down a little bit, halfway. And then I add my broth. So we're gonna let this cook and get all those goodies, burnt pieces on the bottom, and get them in there. So in the flavor. Okay, so I'll be back. This is reduced, the wine. And like I said, this wine isn't gonna hurt the kids or whatever, or whoever. It's just flavor. Anyways, now that that's done, we add our broth, okay? I have 2 quarts of beef broth. Now you don't, you don't need to use it all if you don't want to use it all. I feed whoever, so, and if I don't use it, I'll throw it in the freezer. Okay, this one was chicken broth. Okay, now I'm gonna put a teaspoon of thyme. Okay, that's it, teaspoon of thyme. And I'm gonna put in, pick out 4 good basils, or not basil, I'm sorry, bay leaves. And remember how many you put in, because you got to scoop them back out, because you can't eat these things. Okay, I'm going to put 5 in. Okay, so I'm going to remember 5. I'll put a little pepper. As much as you want. You flavor the way you want to flavor. You don't like pepper, don't put it in. Put a little more salt in. Okay, give it a little stir. And then we're going to bring this to a boil. Now look at those onions in there. See that? Once this is done, you're ready to eat. Now, real quick before I go, if you don't like the way this looks, it's not dark enough for you. There's this stuff called Kitchen Boutique. It's in my cupboard, but I'll show you when I come back what it looks like. All it does is darken it up if you like the dark look. Okay, we'll be back. Hey, okay, now we're back. Check out the broth, okay? See how nice it looks? Look how thick that soup is. This if you like onion soup. Now listen, if you like it look darker, they make this Kitchen Boutique, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, it's a browning, and what it does is it makes it a little dark. I'll show you. You only need like maybe a teaspoon. Look, okay? You pour that in there, just a teaspoon, and look what happens. See it get darker? That's if you want it darker. And if you want darker, add a little more. Anyways, this is done. So remember, you gotta take these bay leaves out. Now I had 5, I got 2, and I'll probably not be able to find them all. Let's hope we do, because nobody wants to eat a bay leaf. Anyways, I'm gonna give this a little taste test. Okay, I'm just gonna try just only get the broth. Okay, this is where you tell if you need to put any more spices in, or salt or pepper. Oh man, that is really good. Damn, I did it again. It really tastes good. Want to try it, Jane? Anyways, she'll try it in a minute. Okay, this is all ready. It took about, the longest part is doing the onions, remember? Once you put the broth in, bring it to a boil, let it cook for about 15-20 minutes, you're done. It's all set to go. So then all you got to do is put it in bowls and serve it. Now listen, I'll be right back. I forgot to get the bowls out, so I'll be right back to show you how to dish this up. Okay, guys, we're gonna dish this up. We're all done. The soup's all done. Okay. All you got to do is get an oven safe bowl. Okay, unless you don't want to put it in the oven. Okay, to melt your cheese. But you just look at that. Every time you scoop that, look at all the onions in there. See? There. You do that. You come over. You know those croutons that we made? earlier. You're just going to put some on there like this. You're going to drop some on the floor for the dog while you're at it. And once you're done with that, you're going to, I don't have that fancy cheese. I got an Italian mix, mozzarella, whatever, Parmesan. It is what it is, okay, guys? Use what you have. You put as much cheese as you want. My family likes cheese. My brother's here, so he's going to get a bowl of soup today because this is one of his favorites. Okay, all I got to do is pop this in the oven. Once you pop this in the oven, look what you get. This is your finished product right here. Now that's a bowl of French onion soup. And I stepped on the crouton. I dropped on the floor. But other than that, we're all good. Enjoy the recipe. And let me know if you like it. All right, I'll catch you later. Bye.
I thought she said to take all the bay leaves out. I heard her say 5. She must have only took out 4 because there's one in my bowl.
Perfect.